Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about a somewhat popular topic in the homeschool community. It's popular because it is kind of popular. As you can see from the title, it's pretty much on why blacks are afraid to homeschool. I've been thinking about this a lot, so I came up with a lot of things that I've concluded, versus things that I've seen on articles and other people's thoughts, and just pretty much a big mashup, I guess, of reasons why I think blacks are afraid to homeschool. Blacks especially are afraid to homeschool. Some of these don't make any sense to me. Some of them, there's really no excuse for it, but hey, everybody's different. Everything's not for everybody, but again, these are things that I've concluded based on my research about homeschooling and how our race does not really value homeschooling as much as they should. Now, I have noticed a huge recent change in blacks homeschooling within probably the last, maybe I'd say 3 years, maybe, with the whole rise of black consciousness, whatever that's supposed to mean. With the rise in that, there's been a rise in blacks pulling their kids out of school or just starting to homeschool from the beginning, and I'm very proud of that. Even though it kind of sucks that it took the black conscious movement to kind of wake people up on, okay, hello, public schools are not all that good for you, and blah blah blah, but hey, whatever works, right? So like I said, I have noticed a huge rise in blacks homeschooling now than ever before, so I'm proud. However, there are still others that refuse to, like on all accounts, and they have their reasons, and these are the reasons why I believe they don't. Number one, they have a fear of not being able to adequately teach their kids. Pretty much they feel like they're not good enough, they can't teach their kids. I've seen mothers where they say, well, I would, but I don't know. I mean, don't you have to have certification for that? Don't you have to have a degree for that? Don't you have to, all this stuff? And there really is no severe requirement over that. I think all you need to do is have a high school diploma in order to homeschool. I mean, that's pretty much tells everyone that you're not dumb. You know what you're doing, and you can teach. But parents, mostly black parents, they still use that as an excuse. They fear that they're not going to be able to do it. Even if they have one child, they fear that they can't do it. Even if their child is young, they fear they can't do it. They fear that, they're not going to be able to teach their 3-year-old. But I'm here to tell you, okay, it's not as hard as it looks. When you have a young child, a really, really young toddler, like 2 or 3 years old, they don't need a lot of book work. They don't need a strict curriculum. They don't need any of that. They don't need anything with testing. They don't need any of that. It's just a toddler. That child can play all day, and they can learn from that. It's easy. With a child that age, between like maybe ages 1 to 3, it's super easy to teach. Like really, really easy. You'd be surprised. You learn from anything. Seriously, if they're playing blocks, they can count. If they're eating, you can help them count their food. They can learn the alphabet from looking at letters in the cereal boxes. I mean, anything. When you're homeschooling that young, it's easy. It's simpler than it looks, people. Now, I think the main fear that blacks have with that is mostly when it comes to kids older than that. I guess maybe 5 and up. Even 5 and up to me is not that bad. I think for me it would get really a little challenging, like after age 10, like once you start getting into the middle school years, then it might get challenging. So that's a whole other dilemma I'm not even going to touch on until I reach that point. But yes, that's number one. Most they just fear that they can't. They say they can't, and there's no possible way they could. They don't think they're smart enough. They just don't think they're at it. They just don't believe they can. So we need to keep putting out encouragement out there that yes, you can homeschool. It's not as hard as it looks. Number 2, not enough resources. That's the hugest one. A lot of black people, they think homeschooling is okay, you have to have this, you have to have that, you have to have a lot of money in order to homeschool. That's not true either. Okay? Seriously, you can be broke and still homeschool. I'm serious. Y'all probably looking at me like, okay, what kind of broke you talking about? You don't have to have a whole lot of money to homeschool. There are resources everywhere nowadays. The internet is full of resources. Dollar Tree is dollar stores everywhere. Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, even Walmart. They sell workbooks. They sell easy workbooks that you can get for like really cheap. You can get really cheap workbooks in those dollar stores. I go to Dollar Tree all the time. And I come out with easy workbooks, easy small books, rulers, all kinds of school supplies in there that you can buy for $1, and they work. They work. They think that they don't have enough resources because, you know, they don't have the means of taking their child to all these fancy field trips. Guess what, people? Homeschooling doesn't have to be fancy. It really doesn't. I mean, they fear that they're going to have to pay for all the kids' field trips and stuff. Well, yeah, that's life. You're going to have to pay for that. Homeschooling can be expensive if you're looking to go out all the time, but really you don't have to go out all the time. Homeschooling, for the most part, should be very, very low cost, especially in the beginning, because the main thing you can do for your child is just take them to the library. Now, the reason why I haven't taken my kids to the library is because we went for a long time without a vehicle. So, I had no way of getting them to the library. But we have a vehicle now, so we'll start making trips to the library soon enough. We have a library about maybe 3 minutes up the street, 3 minutes driving, 3 to 5 minutes driving. And yeah, library's free. Kids can get all the books they want. They can get on the internet. They can play, meet other kids. They can socialize. They can interact. And it's good. I mean, going to the library isn't bad. That's the best thing you can do when you homeschool. The best thing. It's quiet. You can do a lot of things. You can get a lot of stuff done. Bring your laptop. Hey. The other thing, as far as resources, like I said, you don't need a lot. You don't need a super big curriculum, especially if your child's still in elementary school. And, you know, you're just starting out like, okay, my child's going to kindergarten, you know, what curriculum should I get? You don't exactly need a curriculum. What I'm doing there right now is just basic. I have basic stuff. I have stuff that was given to me from my mom, because my mom, she used to own a school. So when she was leaving, she gave me a lot of her resources that she had left over. And also my mother-in-law, she homeschooled. She homeschooled her 2 younger sons. And she gave me what was left of their stuff, you know, what she didn't use anymore because they're all grown now. So I have a lot of stuff that was given to me, so I just got lucky. And also I use, like I said, I use dollar store material. I go to the Dollar Tree. I go to wherever I need to go. If I can't find what I need, I'll go to Walmart. Or, you know, somewhere else, or I'll even look online for it. There are ways you can get resources, and they can be cheap, and you don't have to spend an arm and a leg on teaching your child, especially in the beginning. If your child is in elementary school, it's easy. Even science experiments, you can find things online about science experiments. I'm looking more into that because I haven't had much of a chance to do that, but I'm starting little things. Like the other day, I got my kids 2 little cactuses from Walmart, like those little small cactus plants. And right now we're learning about plant life and how to water plants and how to keep them alive, stuff like that. We're learning a lot of things as far as like weather. I mean, just basic stuff. You can teach your child yourself at home. You have YouTube. YouTube is a great resource. Great resource. You can put your child on YouTube, show them videos, repeatedly show them videos so they'll learn and, you know, get ingrained in their head on what you're trying to teach them. It's easy. It's really easy at this age. Trust me, you don't need a ton of resources. You really don't. You don't have to be rich. Trust me, you just don't. I don't have a lot of money at all, so yeah. I'm just being real. I don't. Number 3, the third reason why blacks are afraid to homeschool is that they are afraid of their family's opinions. That couldn't be more inexcusable, in my opinion. With family, you already know, not everything works for everybody. When it comes to family's criticisms on how you raise your kids, you can't let that get to you. Now, I know that's easier said than done, but you have to just work on it. You just have to work on it and just block everybody out. Tell everybody why you want to do what you want to do, and just keep it up. You can't let your family run you to the ground because, oh, they don't believe their grandchild needs to be homeschooled because, oh, you're not doing right by them and you don't know how to teach them and all this other stuff. You can't listen to that propaganda. It will seriously deter you from wanting to homeschool. Family, if they're not going to help you, if they're not going to support you, then you might as well just let them go. Don't even talk to them about it. Don't let them spread propaganda to your child about it because they'll do that. Some people are just evil. They'll just do that. They'll pull your child aside and be like, I told your mama to put you in school, but blah, 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 You know how blacks like to gossip and talk about each other and judge and all other stuff. I'm not with that. If you catch any of that, remove yourself and remove your child. Because life's too short to be worrying about what your family thinks when you're doing something that you know yourself is right for your child. No one has time for that. I don't care if it's your mom, your daddy, granddaddy, aunt, uncle, cousin, whoever. You don't have time for that. So don't worry about your family. Trust me, I've had a lot of family issues, and it had nothing to do with homeschooling. It had absolutely nothing to do with homeschooling. I've had a lot of family issues, family drama, coming from family, a lot of criticism, a lot of judgment, a lot of lectures, even abuse. I've had a lot of stuff from my family. Y'all don't want to know where I came from. Seriously. So I'm at the point where I can't worry about what my family thinks anymore. If my family thinks my kids shouldn't be homeschooled, guess what? That's none of their business. They're not helping us pay these bills. They're not helping us raise these kids. They're not. If they're not paying your bills, don't worry about what they think. You can homeschool your child and they don't have to worry about it at all. That's not their problem. Number 4, fear of the public's opinions. That's another thing you really shouldn't worry about. If you're not worried about what your family thinks, you shouldn't be worried about what the public thinks. I mean, come on, who cares? It's your child. If you want to homeschool, then you homeschool. If you do it regardless of what the stigma says, all these stigmas and the propaganda that they have against homeschooling, don't worry about that. Don't even worry about that. Yeah, you're going to have your days where you're going to want to quit and give up because things look bleak. But I'm telling you, please just keep going. I've been homeschooling forever. My oldest is 7. And yes, I have my days where I doubt it and I regret it a little bit in the sense of, okay, I'm trapped at home. But I don't look at it as I'm trapped at home. I'm looking at it as my kids are better getting an education from me than being trapped in a school building. And I don't know where they are, what they're doing, who's bothering them, all the other stuff. I don't have to worry about that. So that makes me rest inside. That takes a load off of me, honestly. So again, don't worry about what the public thinks. You're going to have things that the public is going to say to you and say, oh, your child is dumb, or your child is not very social, or your child is this, your child is that. Don't worry about that. Keep doing what you're doing. Find resources elsewhere. Find supportive people around you to help you get through it, and you'll be just fine. You and your child will be just fine. Number 5. It brings me to this one also. Most black people fear that their child won't have a social life. That's not true either. They don't have to not have a social life. It all depends on what you put them in. Now, like I said, we went for a long time without a vehicle, so our kids don't have much of a social life. They never have, except for playing outside. When I take them outside to play, they play with kids out there, and sometimes the kids are a little mean because you know how public school kids are. They're stuck up and they frown at people like my kids because they're, more reserved and they know how to act versus public school kids. And they do get frowned on. My kids do get frowned on. I'm not gonna lie about that. They do. Because, they're just traditionally how they are. They're nice. They offer to help. They say, what's your name? And, can we play together? And stuff like that. And these public school brats be like, just how they act. This is how it's gonna be. It sucks, though. However, now, like I said, now that we have a vehicle, we can take them to places where children are a lot nicer, preferably children of other races, because let's be honest, people, a lot of times black people, our kids are not the nicest. Our kids are not raised the best, and they're just They're angry. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to act when they see kids being kids. You know what I mean? There are a lot of brats out here. There are a lot of brats in this neighborhood that I kind of don't like them playing with because they're just brats. They cuss all the time. They're rude. They be kicking and hitting, singing all kind of songs I don't want my kids to know. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't let my kids play with them that much. You know, occasionally one nice child will come around, but the rest of them, that's why I don't want my children a part of that. I just don't. But a lot of people, they fear that their child won't have a social life. They fear that their child won't have any friends. They fear that, you know, which I kind of understand more on the end of if you have one child. If you have one child, or if you have, let's say 2 kids and they're like, their ages are, they're far apart in age. Like you have a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old. Yeah, then you might have something to worry about because they have no one to play with at home. But with my kids are so close in age, it's not really as big of a deal. Right now, it's really not. I mean, yes, my 7-year-old, she is at the point she wants to meet people. And, you know, she does. She likes talking to people. But as far as her having friends, it's not feasible at this moment, except for, you know, like I said, when we're getting ourselves together and we're able to take them to the library and stuff more often. And, you know, having park trips more often and whatnot. That will come. That's coming really soon. But other than that, she has her siblings to talk to. I have 4 kids in the house, 4, and 3 of them are talking right now. Jelani's not talking yet, but he'll get there. 3 of them are talking, so they entertain each other. They are one another's friends, and technically, those are the best friends they can even get in the first place. Your siblings are always your best friends. I'm glad I did that for them because I only had one sibling. She was 7 years younger than me, and it was kind of rough talking to her sometimes because she was 7 years younger than me. I didn't want that for my kids, so I had them close together because I wanted them to have this tight niche thing that we got going on and not have to worry so much about, okay, you know, this one is 10 years old and they have no friends around, and the next sibling is only 3, and or just stuff like that. I didn't have to worry about that. So like I said, for now, they are each other's friends. Hey, I'll be their friend. I'm not gonna let them get away with anything, but I'll be there. I'll be their friend as much as I possibly can. So, yeah, fear of not having a social life, that's, you can always fix that. Take them to parks more often. Take them out to these free groups, these free events that are out here. Meet some people. Join up with some people. Have your child talk to more kids at the library. And, you know, just get them used to socializing. They'll be just fine. They will be just fine. They're not going to pass out and die. They're not going to not be a proper citizen in life because they didn't have any friends. Trust me, they're not. Just get them involved in whatever you can afford to get them involved in. They'll be just fine. Don't let that deter you from homeschooling altogether. Just don't. Because you might regret it. Your child might get to middle and high school and be like, you know what? And they might hear someone who is homeschooled, who has a much easier life, and they might actually regret not being homeschooled. They might actually say, Mom, why didn't you homeschool me? I remember you contemplating it. Well, you know, why not? I hear that a lot from older kids. A lot of high schoolers I've seen out here, they're like, man, I wish I was homeschooled. Because public school ain't easy. Honestly, it's not. It's really not. It's a lot of pressure on these kids, and I don't like it. So again, don't let that deter you from homeschooling. Number 6, another fear that blacks have is not knowing where to help. I mean, not knowing where to look for help. Now that's pretty much everybody on the whole homeschooling spectrum, period. As far as finding resources or just needing to ask a simple question. But again, we have the internet. There are plenty of resources now. Plenty. There are forums all over the place. There are websites. There are Facebook groups. There are online to help you homeschool. There are plenty of ways you can meet people that homeschool. It might be kind of rough if you don't find anybody in your area. However, you can still try. There are ways. There are free homeschooling sites. There are free educational sites. My kids love the educational sites I put them on. One main one being starhall.com. I've always wanted to try that abcmouse.com, but of course they charge, and I don't have money for it right now. Not for 3 kids. I don't know if that's a bundle package as far as the price or not. I don't know, but not right now. There's another one I can't remember. Another popular one. I can't remember, but either way, there's a lot. I have a whole bookmarked set a bookmark folder on my browser set of homeschooling websites, educational websites, and resources. I have the link to the website where you can get all the homeschooling information, like, okay, what state does what state has certain restrictions on homeschooling versus others, what the restrictions are, how you can look into them, how you can download the declaration of intent to put your child in to start homeschooling. Basically, this site has all that, and it's very informational. And I'm always stocking up on resources on homeschooling and different ways to homeschool. I follow blogs. I get magazines. I read articles. I save things. I talk to people. I ask them, what are your methods of doing this? What are your methods of doing that? There's different ways. There's a lot of ways. I come across them all the time. There are a lot of ways to find what you need in order to start homeschooling, or let's say continue homeschooling. There's a lot. You don't have to feel alone in it, because you're definitely not. Plus, like I said, there's a lot of black homeschoolers. In fact, I just recently joined a group on Facebook with only black homeschoolers, and I was surprised, like, oh wow, this is awesome. There's a group of like over 1,000 people who are homeschooling or contemplating homeschooling, and I think that's amazing because, again, it's growing. We're not as afraid to homeschool as we used to be, so I love it. Number 7, another fear that you might have about homeschooling is that you might not have enough patience. You don't think you have enough patience to help your child learn. That is a big one. To homeschool, you must have patience. Now, I'm not going to say I'm the most patient person in the world. I do get impatient. I get anxious. I have anxiety issues sometimes. I do get impatient occasionally with my kids. But as far as schooling, I don't find myself getting that impatient. I don't know, maybe it's just the teacher in me. I've been around kids for years. I was raised around kids. Because like I said, my mom at school, I was raised around a bunch of kids. So maybe I developed patience from that, or I've just learned how to handle kids and their education. I've worked in a few daycares. I have seen different methods of doing things. So as far as my patience on the education, that is normally well. As far as my patience in other things, however, might need some work. But my educational patience is just where it needs to be. I don't push my children super hard, because what would be the point of having them homeschooled if I just shove things in their faces and force them to memorize things if I had no patience? I have to have patience. And that's what I do when I school them. When I sit down and I show them something or teach them something new, I am very patient at first. The only time I get very impatient with my kids when it comes to schooling is when I know that they know what I'm asking them, and they want to play dumb. That happens a lot. Like my son Jam, he likes to play dumb. He'll just be quiet and get all like he doesn't know what he's talking about. I ask him a simple question like, okay, I don't know, I can't think of an example, but I'll ask him one simple question and he'll just drop his head and be like, I don't know. And I'm like, Jam, you know very well what that answer is. Come on. It was something simple that, like I said, I know he knows. That is when I lose patience. I have no tolerance for when I know you know something and you're acting like you just don't know it. That I have no tolerance for, and that's the great thing about homeschooling. When you homeschooling, you know what your child knows. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You are their teacher. You know exactly what you've ingrained in their heads. So it's easy to kind of gauge what your child knows. You just know. You know what they know because you taught it to them. You or someone around you, your husband, your sister, somebody has taught them. Might be having a hand in homeschooling. Even if your grandmother helps you, that's wonderful too. You know, they know what your child, you and your family will know what your child knows. There's no foreign teacher out there that gotta give you a weekly report on what your child knows. There's nothing like that. So that's what I love about homeschooling, having that kind of freedom. Patience is a big one. You need to have patience. You can't be snapping at your child just because they don't grasp onto how to write the letter S that one time. You have to practice with them, literally. You have to keep giving them that same S over and over every day. You have to give it to them and praise them when they get it right. When they're young, hold their little hands, hold their hand while they're holding the pencil, and help them write that S over and over. They will get it. When they write it backwards, just say, no, that looks nice, but guess what? It's backwards. Do it again. Erase it. They'll be fine. Don't snap. Don't holler. None of that. When you yell too much during homeschooling, it's gonna kind of, what's the word? I don't know how to put it, but it's not very wise. I don't think it's very wise. If you find yourself snapping a lot, then homeschooling might not be for you. You might not have developed the patience yet. However, that does come in time. Patience always comes in time regardless. Because I wasn't the most patient in the beginning, but I've definitely grown. I've grown a lot. Because my children are now school age. My two oldest, my son's about to be 6 and my oldest is 7. They're school age. I have to be patient because they're learning things that they need to learn in school, and I need to be patient with them. I need to be on them, because if I'm not, in the event they did have to go to school or private school, whatever, in the event that they did, I don't want them to be behind. I don't want them to be way far behind, like grades behind, and everybody's looking at me like, what were they doing? You know, they can't read yet and stuff like that. Nope. My kids are on top of the game, and I make sure of it. Make sure. My son Jam, he's reading very well right now. He's about to be 6, and he's almost reading the same books that Soraya is reading. In fact, he's reading, pretty much the same reader that Soraya is on right now. The same reader with bigger words like these. They're doing like the same lessons right now, pretty much. And he's supposed to be in his grade level is supposed to be right now kindergarten, but he's reading past the kindergarten level right now. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of myself that I've been on it. He's reading past the kindergarten level. He's about to go to what they consider first grade, and he's already reading well. Like I said, I'm proud. I'm very proud. So him and Soraya are the same, reading stories like this. They're on the same level, and he reads words that I didn't even know he knew. He'll just come up and just read a certain big word. I'm like, how'd you know that word? Wow, amazing. Patience, patience, patience. Please develop patience if you plan to homeschool, especially if you're homeschooling more than one child. Homeschooling more than one child, it's rough. It can be kind of rough because you got different lesson plans, different resources, different things to plan, and you just got to do things differently, because remember, each child is also different too. Each child has a different way of learning. One child is going to be slower than the other. You have to factor all that in, and you must have patience for each and every child, or else you will fail just right off the bat, easily. Number 8. Another reason why black people fear homeschooling is that they have a troublemaker child. That I can't really help you with. That is on you and your parenting. I hope if your child is a troublemaker, I hope that for your sake that pulling them out of school will help them calm down a bit. Help give them some time to think and recuperate and not have school worries to worry about, because school can be stressful. So having a troublemaker child, don't let that get in the way of you wanting to homeschool, because it's never too late. It's never too late to start homeschooling. It's never too late to invest more time in your child's education. It's just not. It's never too late. So if you can, start with it. If your child is angry for a long time at first, angry at you for doing that to them, just keep talking to them. That's all you can do. Keep talking to them, reinforcing them, praise them when they do their schoolwork right, and just keep it going. I can't say much about the troublemaker area because my kids have never been in school and they're not troublemakers, so I can't emphasize on that. Number 9. The main fear that blacks have as far as homeschooling is the fear of having to leave work and just pretty much bounce into this unknown territory of life. Because homeschooling, yes, it is an unknown territory, and everyone's journey is different, and a lot of people might fear that. And of course, a lot of women, they're not going to want to leave work because they've got used to work, they've got comfortable, they like making their own money, and they just don't want to. I can't really help you with that either. I'm just letting you know the main things that people complain about as far as homeschooling. I can't make your financial decisions for you. If it's right for you and your family, I would say do it. If it's not, don't do it. Like if you're a single mother and you can't afford to leave work, I completely understand. If you're married and you don't want to leave work, I understand that too. Like I said, this is not for everybody. Not everybody in the world is going to be able to homeschool. Not everybody in the world is going to want to homeschool. I'm just letting you know, for the people who want to homeschool or people who are interested in it, I'm just trying to debunk some of those things that we hear all the time, that we keep making excuses for, because not everything is, black and white. There's underlying issues to everything. So I understand that a lot of women are afraid to leave work and be home with their children. Some women are actually kind of scared of their children because their children are so, they've been in public school so long, they're just kind of rambunctious. They don't know how to take care of them, really, because, like I said, they haven't disciplined them right in the beginning. Their kids are brats. They know they're going to be home and probably just tearing up stuff, and they're like, I ain't going to have you sitting at home eating up all my food, and you ain't going to sit around and do nothing. You're going to be sitting around doing schoolwork, and I got to teach you? Some parents going to be like, no. So, I get it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It's just not. I just know a lot of women, they have a fear of leaving work because they don't want to be home. They're not really homebodies, or they just fear that they can't afford it or whatnot. But hey, like I said, that's you. If that's your situation, go ahead and stick to what you know best for your family. And the last one, basically touching on the previous one about not being afraid to leave work. A lot of parents think that they won't have time to homeschool, which I also understand as well. Now, if you're already a stay-at-home mom, what won't you have time to do? If you're staying at home and you don't have any major responsibilities as far as staying at home, you're just sitting at home, cleaning the house, cooking, making sure, your husband's fed when he gets home, stuff like that. You have time to homeschool. Homeschool is not going to take that long. All you have to do is set a routine, set a schedule for yourself. Depending on how many children you have, it can be easy. You can spend an hour with each child, or half an hour, depending on their age. I say half an hour for like really young kids. You can do an hour for each child. You can give your child 2-3 worksheets and call it a day. Have them practice writing their name. Have them practice anything. Just go through, buy some posters from Dollar Tree. Put posters on the wall. My kids' room has posters that I bought from Dollar Tree all over the walls. Yeah, I can review things with them, and they occasionally review themselves. And that's easy. Homeschooling is not that hard. If you don't feel like giving your child a worksheet for the day, have them watch an educational video. Buy them a quick educational video from Walmart. If they're really young, they can watch Dora or Bob the Builder or something like that. Something they can learn from. Sesame Street, yeah, good one. Sesame Street, they can easily learn. They can watch that. And I'm not saying leave cable on all day, because no, that's just going to deter them from doing anything, and they're going to end up watching too much TV. You don't want that. You don't want cable being on when you're trying to homeschool. So I say DVDs because when the DVD is over, you can take it out and you can monitor what they watch and when they watch it. But like I said, if you're home all day, if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're literally home all day, you're not disabled, you don't have any major issues, you will have time to homeschool. There's no excuse, especially if you have one child. One child! I mean, there's no excuses as to why you shouldn't try homeschooling if you're interested in it. If you're interested in it, like you're generally interested in it, you're talking about it, and you're kind of trying to manifest it, but you're like, I don't know. You can do it because you're already at home. Like I said before, I said all throughout this video, you don't need a lot of resources. Homeschooling can be cheap. Take your child to the library, take them out, take them to the park. They learn there. They learn from anywhere. Especially if they're young. If they're like ages 10 and under, kids learn from anything. Take them to the grocery store. They learn in the grocery store. Show them all the fruits and vegetables. Have them read the labels. I have my kids do that when I take them to the grocery store. They read the labels on the fruits and vegetables and all the food. They read everything. They read even the brands. They read everything. Do I even tell them to read it? They be reading the signs in the aisles that tells you what food is down that aisle. They read those. They read everything. And I don't even have to tell them to, but that's homeschooling. That's a part of homeschooling. Anything is a part of homeschooling. You take them out for a drive. They're reading signs. They're pointing out things. They're reading the store logos. They're asking questions. They're seeing trees, flowers, bugs. They're seeing a bunch of stuff. And homeschooling is easy, people. Come on. For young kids, it's really, really easy. Like I said, the complications somewhat get to start when you get to like middle school and above, because that's when your child really needs more. They really need a whole lot more. If you're planning on sending your child to college, that also requires a lot more, because then you have to teach them to how to like essays and how to do all these college prep tests and all these other things they're going to have to do. That's a whole other story. But like I said in the beginning, homeschooling is a breeze. It should be a breeze. Okay? Seriously. You don't see me stressing out over it. I don't stress out over it too much. If I have one of those days, like I said, I'm 7 months pregnant right now. If I have one of those days where I just don't feel like giving them schoolwork, I just don't. I put them on an educational video, like Sid the Science Kid. Or like I said, they have Sesame Street DVDs back there. And soon I'm going to be ordering some more educational DVDs for, like Soraya, because she's getting older. She wants to learn more than what she's already seen. Put them on a DVD. You can watch that. And if you want, you can do something else educational with them throughout the day. Like I said, have them help you cook. That's part of homeschooling. Everything is part of homeschooling. They can learn to sew. They can help you sew. They can help you if you edit videos. They can help you edit videos. If you do photography, they can learn that. If you cook, they can learn that. They can learn how to clean the house. They learn how to fold laundry, vacuum. There's plenty of things your child can learn while being at home. They're not just going to be sitting around idly on your phone or on a DS or something, just not learning. They don't have to not learn. They don't have to sit there all day and not learn. Hell, give them some Play-Doh and give them a project. Tell them to make, see if they can make animals out of Play-Doh. Something. Just be creative. Homeschooling is about being creative. And that's what I do. I have my days where I don't feel like giving them not one worksheet. I just don't. So I give them something else. I give them like other drawing exercises. Like they have a dry erase board back there. I give them dry erase markers, have them use that. And sometimes I might just tell them what to write. I might just tell them, oh, write this kind of sentence. And they love it. They'll just hop on and say, oh, okay, well, we'll write a sentence. They'll write stories. They'll write stories on the board. They'll write pictures to go along with the stories. They'll color in their coloring books. And, it's the possibilities are endless when your child is young. You have time. If you are a stay-at-home mom and you're genuinely interested in homeschooling, go for it. You have the time, okay? If you don't run a major business from home to where you literally have to work on your computer for like 4 to 6 hours or something, you have the time. Plus, if your child is old enough, they can work by themselves, and they can only come. They should only be able to come to you when they need, help. So it's pretty easy. Like I said, it all depends on the child's age and temperament, but it's pretty easy. So yeah, that's enough rambling for now. I hope you guys take these things into consideration. If you're interested, if you have any questions about what I've just talked about, let me know in the comments below. And let's talk about this. Tell me, what are your fears of homeschooling? Why are you afraid of homeschooling? Do you regret not homeschooling? Has your child gotten in a lot of trouble at school, or you just kind of wish you did, just to have more of a bond with them? Tell me. We can discuss these things. Write them down below. We can talk. We can have discussions. Let me know. So yeah, as you can see, I'm very passionate about this subject, so I can talk all day on it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.